Mathis, and I am in my studio in Sun City, Arizona. And the accordion I'm holding today is the Roland Digital Accordion. It is the model FR8X. And I'd like to talk today a little bit about how the Roland Digital Accordion came into being. So first of all, the man responsible is he did live in Japan. He was born in 1930, and his name is Ikatura Takahashi. I'm going to repeat that. Ikatura Takahashi. So he is the guy that invented all sorts of electronic musical instruments over the years. He is passed now. He's gone about, I think, 3 years maybe. But he is responsible for inventing the drum machine that was you found in the early late 1960s, Hammond organs, and a lot of those instruments around the time that had rhythm machines. He invented those. And then, as with many companies, they go through their ups and downs, and that was called Acetone, that company, and he left that company, and then he started doing guitar pedals, and the name Boss, B-O-S-S, if you look on any of the websites or enter into a guitar store, you'll see the Boss guitar effects pedals. They're famous. They've been around for a long time. But anyhow, because of Mr. Takahashi, this instrument exists. If it were not for his desire to produce a digital accordion, we wouldn't have them. So it is solely his enthusiasm for the instrument that the instrument exists at all. So I want to explain a little bit about how the system works that they came up with. I can only imagine what he and the engineers were thinking as they were creating this idea. In the early 2000s is when it came to market. 2004 it was introduced in Japan, and America saw the first ones at the trade show in 2005 at the Anaheim NAMM show. And that's where I saw the first one. I actually saw some of the first ones produced. But the concept was, the instrument is called the V-Accordion. And what that means is virtual accordion. So what they did was to take an accordion and record all of the tones that one accordion can produce. So the digital accordion was a copy of the acoustic accordion. And people argue about, well, how exact is it a copy? Because it's like a photocopy, it's not the same as the original. So you have to give the acoustic aficionados their due also, because there are things that the digital accordion cannot do. But vice versa, there are hundreds of things that you can do on the digital accordion that you can't do on the acoustic accordion. So it's a trade-off. But the concept was, and I used to, when I was a little kid, I used to think, wow, I really like this kind of accordion, and I really like this kind of accordion, and if I could own 10 accordions with different types of sounds on it, wouldn't that be great? Well, that must have been the same thinking that Mr. Takahashi had, because in those first accordions, I think they sampled, and by sample I mean recorded, perhaps maybe 14 different accordions. And to do that, you had to sample each note with just a single reed playing, and then you had to make sure that all of those things could be combined. So like on a big concert accordion that has 5 reeds in it, that would be one sound, and then another type of accordion that has a cassato system in it, you know, the enclosed box, that has to be another accordion. And then say an accordion in Scotland that has got a wide musette on it, that's another type of accordion. And an accordion from Germany is another type of accordion. And an accordion from, say, Louisiana, Cajun accordion, that's another type of accordion. And they all have different types of reeds in them and different varying amounts. So on this 8X that I'm holding today, I'm just going to go through some of those Roland basic sound. These are all what's called set memory. So on the accordions that you purchase from Crown Music, I have a turn-on set that is quite different than what the original Roland concept was. So today I'm just showing at this point what the original Roland concept was. So I've got in my screen up on top here, I can see that I've got the accordion currently set for set 1 and it's concerto. And so when that's turned on, we're listening to the master switch and the master reeds over on the left hand side. So it's now let's listen to the bassoon. And let's try one of the clarinet sounds. Actually, that's a little bit of a musette. And if I hit the very last tab down on the bottom, that's going to be the piccolo. So I'm going to go back to the master again. Now let's just listen to a little bit of the bass. Okay, so now this button right here, it says set, and I can go plus or minus. So I'm going to move to the next set, or the next accordion. The first one was concerto. This next one is called classic. And you know, who knows how they came up with these sounds? I'm sure, you know, I'm just taking a guess. Maybe they found 14 accordions and they recorded every single aspect that they could about those 14 accordions. And so where the name classic came from and where the name concerto came from and all these other names, we've never been told. But going back again to the concerto, here's the bass sound. Now I'm going to switch to the classic. Here it's got a different tone. And going back again to the master on the concerto, and I'm going to switch over to the classic. See, it's just slightly different. All right, so now let's go to the jazz. That's number 3 in the list. And going to the next one now. This next one is called F jazz. So maybe that means that they had an accordion from France. It could be French jazz. And here it's got a different tone. Now, the thing about all of these is that you've got 14 tabs, registers, on the accordion. And one of the things that I do quite differently with the Dale Mathis sound sets is I'm going to go through all 14 of these, and I want to make a point. So first we're going to listen to the bassoon. Tab number 1, tab number 2, tab number 3, tab number 4, Could you hear any difference between number 3 and number 4? There's 3, there's number 4. It's a minute difference. So you're going to find that as I go through more of these. Here's number 5. Here's number 6. Here's number 7. Now there, of course, you can hear a big difference because the bassoon reed, or the 16-foot pitch reed, has dropped out. Here's number 8, the master. Number 9. There you hear a little bit of a musette. Number 10. It's just a slightly different reed. Here's number 9. Here's number 10. They're so similar. Here's number 11. Little bit of difference. There's number 12. That's just a single clarinet reed, or the 8-foot pitch reed. Here's number 13. It's a combination of 2 of those 8-foot reeds, and then number 14 is the piccolo. So when there are, on the 8X, there are 37 of these different sets. And of those 37, I'm going to guesstimate again that they maybe had 14, maybe 16, maybe 18 different accordions that they recorded, because while there are 37 sets, some of those sets are where every one of the 14 tabs is the master sound that they borrowed from one of the, the French master, the German master, and there could have been more than one German accordion. There could have been, maybe they had 5 Italian accordions from 5 different manufacturers. They don't tell us who made it. It could have been a Scandelli, it could have been Cucinelli, who knows? They've never told us what instruments they actually sampled from. But it could, they could all be variations of Italian accordions, could be variations of German accordions. There's a Tex-Mex in here, who knows who made that. There's a Cajun sound set in here, and we're not told who made that. So one of those sets that they had is all masters. As a matter of fact, let me go to that one. I'm looking at my screen up on top here, and it actually tells me. So like number 7 it says Italian folk. And then number 8 it says D folk. Well, I'm guessing that means Deutsch, so German folk. And number 9 is F folk, so I'm assuming that means French folk. And then number 10 is SP folk, and I'm assuming that means Spanish folk. And then number 11 it says ballroom. Well, who knows what ballroom accordion they had. And number 12 says bandoneon. Number 13 says alpine. Number 14 says Cajun. So now, on the Cajun accordion, I'm going to put on the master. Well, Cajun accordions don't have bassoon reeds. So, there's some compromise involved here too, because if you're listening to a Cajun accordion, it's all 8-foot reeds, or all variations of the clarinet reed. Alright, so that's the Cajun. Tex-Mex, Old Paris, Ciao Rome. So a couple, variation on a French accordion, an Italian accordion. Oops, I just went out, hit the wrong button there. There it says diatonic folk, studio accordion, traditional accordion, Baroque accordion. I have no idea what a Baroque accordion is. A romantic accordion, concertina, A Scottish accordion, well, the Scottish accordions are going to have a very wide musette on it. You know, they sound like they're out of tune. All right, so we have that. Irish accordion, Celtic accordion. Now here, number 27, it says low reed accordion. So this is a strange one that you wouldn't get on any acoustic accordion. What they did was the bassoon reed, the normal bassoon reed, which plays at the 16-foot pitch like on a pipe organ, they dropped it down an octave, so you get this really odd sound. You know, you can't play chords with that. It doesn't work. But you can play individual notes. So when you play the master, but the only thing that you can use it for is playing single note melodies. Alright, so that's that one. Number 28, it says half valve. I don't know what a half valve is. And then this, number 29, it says future. And it just seems to be a little bit of odd, some phasing or something in the accordion reeds. There's that low reed again. Now this one, Bank 30 is all musettes. So I think what they did is took 14 accordions and just took the musette sound from all 14 so that you could just go through all 14 of your registers and listen to the different musettes. So here's number 1. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. That's what has more of a nasal tone. Number 8. Number 9. A thinner sound. Number 10. That's 10. It's got a heavier musette, or the tuning is further apart. Number 11. Number 12. Number 13. That one is probably that Scottish. Alright, so that's the musettes in bank number 30. Here, bank number 31, it's all bassoon reeds from the different accordions. So here's number 1. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. Here's number 4. Here's number 5. Here's number 6. Here's number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Number 11. Number 12. Number 13. Ooh, that's down an octave. Number 14. And here's the bass sounds. see, so that was the bassoons, and then here's set number 32. These are all the masters. So here's number 1, and you'll hear the bass sound is different. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. Here's number 4. Here's number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. So let's see what else. 32. This one, 33, says V set. So this is now this V set is getting a little bit like what I do for the Dale Mathis turn-on set. If you notice number 2 here, and when I hit number 3, that's a noticeable difference. Number 1, well, see, that's similar. All right, so anyhow, what's different about the Dale Mathis turn-on set is that in those tabs that you saw, I'm just going back to turn-on set here. In the tabs that you saw where you could hear hardly any difference between the different registers, in my turn-on set, everything is usable. There's no wasted real estate. So here's the master. And then right next to it, number 7, is a really fat musette. And you know, if you only made 2 registration changes in a song, you could go between number 8 and number 7 and have beautiful orchestration, where in all of the Roland sets, because so many of them are very similar sounding, it's not all that interesting. I go to number 6. It's a really bright sound. Number 1. Bassoon. Number 2. Bandonion. Number 3. I did a special effect on it, again, because within a song, the more changes that you can make, it's like the orchestra. You know, the orchestra, if you've got an 80-piece symphony, or if you've got a 20-piece big band, well, you know, in the big band, let's just take that example. You've got a sax section, you got a trombone section, you've got a reed section where you might have saxophone and clarinet players. You'll have a bass player, of course. You'll have the piano player. But those are, when the trumpets play, you know, that's a very distinct sound. When the trumpets and trombones play, that's a different, completely different, distinct sound. And so it makes it more interesting. And that's what I created here, is distinct changes in the sound. So let's do this one. There's a distinct difference between all 14 of my registers. So it just makes the accordion much more usable. So we, all of us Roland lovers, do owe a lot of gratitude to Mr. Takahashi for having the foresight to create this instrument for us so that we have this marvelous instrument to fool with. And you know, we've just been talking about the accordion sounds. Then in addition, because the Roland company had created all of these synthesizers over the years, they have synthesizer sounds on the instrument. And the early synthesizers just sounded like electronic instruments, and then of course the later, more current synthesizers have recordings of actual clarinets and trumpets, and so we can get all of those sounds. And another big popular instrument in the history of music was Lawrence Hammond's Hammond organ. So with his drawbar system for creating different tones, pure sine wave tones. So we've got the Hammond organ sounds on here. So it's this wonderful creation of all these different sounds all in one instrument. And then of course what I have done is, because of my extensive background working with accordions, working with synthesizers, working with classical organs, all of these different companies that I dealt with over the last probably 50 years working in retail, almost 50 years, is that I have all this background knowledge, plus I have a sense of what people like. And so I put all of these sounds into the Roland accordions that we sell at Crown Music. So I hope that this has been educational and informative, and that you weren't too bored watching this, because it can be, you know, it's not just playing Sweet George Brown and a bunch of tunes that are pleasant enough to listen to, but this was actually a workshop session so that you could learn a little bit more about the beginnings of the Roland accordion, and our debt to Mr. Takahashi for having the foresight to create it for us. And at mycrownmusic.net you will find all of my free lesson videos and the free sheet music. And at my YouTube channel, Dale Mathis Accordion, you will now see that I have more than 500 accordion videos from the Roland that you can listen to and get an idea of what I've created on the instruments that are sold through Crown Music in Sun City, Arizona. So thank you very much for watching today.